Here are the top 10 offensive lines in college football. Let's show some love to the big fellas. Coming in at number 10, I've got Penn State. There's a reason that Katron Allen and Nick Singleton run for a ton of yards every season. It's because of this big, bruising O-line that has 5 guys that played at least 400 snaps last season. At number 9, I've got Clemson. This offensive line has grown with Garrett Riley's system, and they were phenomenal this last season and returned a ton of starters. Clemson is first in the country in returning production, and a lot of that has to do with the offensive line reps they bring back. At number 8, I've got Miami. Cristobal has always been fantastic at recruiting and developing offensive line talent, and that's no different this season. They're going to have one of the best O-lines in the ACC. At number 7, I've got Oregon, which is a unique offensive line because it's one of the only ones on this list where they brought in a bunch of transfer portal players that will play big snaps for them this season. Isaiah World is the guy that was evaluated as a 5-star transfer from Nevada. He's going to play for the Ducks this season. At number 6, I've got Iowa. They were the number 1 rated offensive line in college football last season, according to PFF, and they returned several starters and several key guys that are going to develop in this system. At number 5, I've got Texas A&M. They are one of the most experienced returning offensive lines in college football, bringing back a ton of snaps from last season. At number 4, I've got Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish had some inconsistent O-line play at times last season, but that was largely due to some injuries. They're going to have a lot of guys back and healthy this year and look to have one of the best offensive lines in the country. At number 3, I've got Utah. This is not your typical Big 12 offensive line. It may be the most underrated O-line in the entire country. They have a bunch of future NFL guys on there, including Spencer Fano, who's probably going to be a first-round draft pick next season. At number 2, I've got the Florida Gators. Despite inconsistency from Florida throughout 2024, their offensive line largely stayed the same and has a bunch of guys that are huge contributors like Jake Slaughter, their center, who's likely to be the first center off the board in the draft next season. At number 1, I've got Alabama. The Crimson Tide easily have the best starting 5 offensive linemen of any team in the entire country, and they're also unrivaled in terms of their depth, and their development, I think, is going to be top-notch and top-tier because of how great their coaching staff is.